Boom. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to episode 6 of the Blind by Chronicles. And honestly, this might be the most hyped up, anticipated fragrance yet. If you're really into fragrances, like if you have ball knowledge, then you're probably going to be very familiar with what I'm about to show you. Maybe if you're just starting to get into fragrances, you won't be as familiar, but nevertheless, right inside this packaging here, we have Clandestine Laboratories Pool Boy, or I think some people are calling it the Boy now. Like I said, if you're into fragrances, you know the hype. This stuff is always sold out on their website, which we'll talk about more in a minute. But this has just been one of the most hyped up fragrances, especially in the community, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Everybody's trying to get their hands on it. And with it being a fresher fragrance, decided to pick it up. And then we'll just dive in and talk about it. I'll give you my honest thoughts and feedback. And so without further ado, let's jump into this Blind by Chronicles with the presentation. So starting here with the presentation, as you can tell, extremely simple. You have the logo here on the front and then an N and a Y for New York. I guess that is where they are stationed here. On the bottom, it says The Boy. And then we have a badge code. And then really just kind of this cardboardy material. You pop the cap open like that and then slide it right out. And then this is what you get. And so that's kind of the packaging it comes in. The actual presentation itself kind of following this cylinder of a cap. If you really were to look at it closely, it almost has like a woodworking kind of a top to it. And then you got the name here, The Boy. I call it Pool Boy. A lot of people do. Clandestine Laboratories, 50 ml, 1.7 ounces. And then it is an eau de parfum concentration. And as you can see, got a nice lemonade kind of a color to it. So not a bad presentation, all things considered. The packaging, it's so-so. The actual bottle itself, it's different. It's unique. Not a lot of fragrances come in like this kind of cylinder-esque bottle shape nowadays. And so I'll give them credit for that. That's unique. That's different. Certainly doesn't, try to reinvent the wheel or anything, but I guess it gets the job done. That's ultimately not the most important thing, but I did want to highlight that here in the opening, looking at the presentation. But let's continue on and let's chat about the price. And so for this 50 ml bottle, as you see right here, I paid $180 US for it. Now here's the thing about the price. Obviously, this stuff is expensive. I think the 100 ml is like $270. It's up in the twos pretty healthily. But I had recently been notified that this had been put back in stock. Actually, Canyon let me know. And this was like a Sunday evening. And they had the 10 mils, I think a 2.2 mil, a 10 mil, a 50, and a 100. And within like an hour, literally everything was sold out except for the 50 mil. And when I purchased it, it was the last one left on their website. And so obviously the price stays high, but also too kind of limited with the selection at checkout, because if I could have, I probably would have got a 10 mil perhaps, just like I did with Tempo in our last episode. But this stuff's obviously so popular, it stays sold out all the time. I don't really know what else to say. Obviously not cheap, especially for a 50 mil, but this is a niche company, underground fragrances and laboratory. So that's kind of what you're getting here. Could the price be a little cheaper? Sure. But ultimately, something that smells good can kind of justify a more expensive fragrance. And then something that's cheap could also justify it not smelling as good as well. So, want to give you the price. But now, let's get to the most important part here. How does this smell? So, before I read you the notes, because there's quite a bit of them on Fragrantica's website, this has been described, at least how Fragrance Knowledge and other people have shared it on the internet to be. This is like you're sipping an iced tea beside a pool, simply put. Like it's the summertime, you're drinking an iced tea, you're sitting in the pool, maybe you're hanging off the edge and your feet are in the water and you're just sitting there drinking your tea. That's kind of the experience that most people compare to this fragrance. Now, as you can see, a lot of notes here. You get tropical fruit, iced tea, guava, passion fruit, musk, lemon, tobacco, rose, iris, cedar, lavender, vetiver, hyssop, and moss. Quite the extensive note breakdown, but spoiler alert, as somebody that has just smelled this and has actually given it one wear just for the sake of this video. Really, out of all those notes that I just gave you, I would say the tropical fruit, the iced tea, the guava, and the passion fruit. Those are the 4 notes that you're going to get in this fragrance. And I'm not saying you don't get any of the other ones, but like each of those 4 carry about 20% of the smell. And then all of the other notes combine in to make the last 20. So 80% of this fragrance, at least to my nose and to Canyon's, is that tropical fruit. You get an iced tea, it's guava, it's passion fruit. It's sweet, it's fruity, it's realistic, it's not artificial at all. And the iced tea note as well, it's not like a sweet tea you'd go get at your local fast food restaurant. This is like an actual tea being dipped into the tea bag, that kind of herbaceous, earthy, almost kind of smell, like you're smelling the fresh tea leaves or you're smelling it in the bag trying to prepare your tea beverage. And so that's kind of what I get with the smell. Obviously a lot of notes, and really for me, just upon wearing it, you kind of pick up some more of the woods and lavender and moss in the dry down, but really for the most part, this is pretty linear to me. It is a very, very heavy fruit bomb. The passion fruit and the guava do a lot of the heavy lifting, I feel like. And then you do get that iced tea, kind of aquatic, musky, by the pool smell. And so I will give them credit for that. Certainly with so many notes, it's hard to kind of pinpoint which ones. Want to give you those as the point of emphasis. And yeah, it does smell like you are drinking a drink at the pool, but it has, this tea is almost like it's been really loaded in heavily with citruses. Perhaps overloaded, I guess that depends on your taste and really how much you like a natural tea, natural fruit smell. For me personally and for Canyon, I'm just going to be honest because that's what this channel has been. Obviously, everybody loves this fragrance because it sells out all the time. I just checked before this video, it's still sold out. So obviously, it's incredibly popular. That's why you can't really ever pick up samples of it, which is unfortunate. The demand is certainly higher than the supply at this given point. But to me, it just kind of stays too linear for my liking, and it's just too much tropical fruits, guava, passion fruit, iced tea. It's just a lot of it, and I'll touch on some more of that at the end of the video. But that's really kind of what I get, at least my nose, as several other people have picked up on it as well, from start to the mid to the finish. Pretty straightforward. If you like the first couple notes I read off, then you're going to really like this fragrance. If not, you might not be head over heels for it. Just kind of depends what camp you fall in. But I'll give you my closing thoughts here at the end. But kind of want to give you that with the smell. Is it like you're drinking iced tea at a pool? Sure. But I would definitely add in a lot of that fruit and natural smelling sweetness in there with it. But that's the smell. And let's keep on with our review. All right. We will go performance and longevity here. As I said, I wanted to wear this once to at least give you guys a fair idea of what this fragrance is. So I just couldn't skip this section and say, I don't know, go try it for yourself. So with this fragrance, in terms of the performance and longevity, of course it is a freshie. In terms of the actual like pushing off of your skin, I get about a foot, maybe foot and a half in the first hour or so. But I would say it kind of teeter-totters between a foot, maybe down to half a foot in terms of projection. Longevity, I get a smooth like 7 to 9 hours on my skin, and then it's a skin scent, maybe closer to the 7 than I'd say the 9. Maybe I'd have to wear it several more times just to get you an exact number, but that's kind of where I stand. For it being a freshie, it's got solid projection and longevity. Obviously, fragrances in this family don't like to last long. They kind of like to dissipate off your skin, and they become a skin scent very quickly, but that's not the case here with this fragrance. Will get you certainly through the day. If you wear it to an actual pool, if you wear it out somewhere in the middle of the summertime, I don't think you're going to have trouble with this fragrance. And like I've even talked about with the smell, it's got a good bit of sweetness, so that's going to help you get noticed and some of that attention as you're wearing this, just because of some of those notes that you pick up right upon smelling it. And so that's the performance and the longevity. To close it out, we'll jump into seasonality, and then I'll kind of segue that into our final thoughts. All right, as you could probably guess, this fragrance is a summertime scent. You can maybe tell that by the juice color. It's yellow. Obviously, it's got a lot of passion fruits, and a lemon in there. So certainly a summertime fragrance. Could you wear this in spring? Yes. But this fragrance, to me, just in terms of the mood that I find myself wearing this would be something like City of Stars. I think you can wear City of Stars year-round, but for me, when I spray that on, being one of my favorite fragrances ever, it kind of puts me into a summer state of mind. I could see this being the case with this fragrance, and so just keep that in the back of your mind. You could probably wear it year-round, but I just think this fragrance is specifically like you're going out, it's a summer evening, you're going to the pool, you're doing something adventurous, and that's what this fragrance kind of conveys in terms of the seasonality. So I'd probably go more so summertime with this, and I think by the analogies I've given you throughout this video, you could probably get to that understanding as well. And so that's kind of the seasonality of it. I know we're losing daylight here, and so I'll wrap things up. I'll just give you my closing thoughts. Was this blind buy a win or was it a loss? That's the question we always ask ourselves. And I believe, check me, make sure I'm not telling a fib here, but I believe the previous 5 episodes have been a win. I will say that this episode is unfortunately a loss. I understand, as I mentioned several times already, this fragrance is clearly wildly popular because it's never in stock. So obviously many people love it and many people wear it all the time. But unfortunately, it's just simply not for me. I was hoping some more of these notes would kind of be more prominent in the fragrance. They weren't, at least to my nose. When I tell you that myself and even multiple people that smelled this, friends, family, coworkers, they got tropical fruit, iced tea, guava, and passion fruit. And it's really natural. And for me, being my age, where I'm at in life, I'm not 100% just I don't want it to be super artificial, no. But I'm not looking for something to smell like I've just dipped my head into a tea bag and a fruit basket and walked out to the pool. The passion fruit and guava too, those are very two prominent fruits that add a lot of sweetness to the fragrance. So yeah, it's very realistic. And the details given around it, the descriptors, they're not lying. But overall, myself and Canyon as well and other people that have smelled this, it's just not for me. And it's just not for the crowd that I spend time with, unfortunately. That's the beauty about fragrances. You've probably hated some of the fragrances I've raved about, and I probably hate some of the fragrances you've raved about. That's the beauty of perfumery. We all have different noses. We all have different opinions and tastes. But for me, unfortunately, I would deem this a loss. I would not pick this one up again if I had the opportunity to. I tried to see it for what it is, giving it a couple wears, but ultimately, maybe I'll grow on it over time. There have been fragrances that I despised, and now I like a decent bit. I hope this is the case because I spent my hard-earned money on it. I hope I end up loving it. This is not something I tried to just pick apart and try to purposely hate, because when I personally invest in these videos, I don't want to just swing and a miss. I want to hit it out of the park because I have a personal investment into it. So that's kind of my thoughts. If you've ever tried the Boy, let me know how you like it down in the comment section below. Very interesting, very unique fragrance. I will give them that. This is nothing like I have in my collection. Like nothing else is really similar to this. And so it is doing its own thing. And I'll give them credit for that. But that's kind of all for me. Let me know what you think about Pool Boy down in the comments section below. And let me know what should be the next blind buy purchase for episode 7 of this series. That's kind of all for me. I'll be interacting with the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, stay safe and God bless.